Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in this video we're gonna continue the part of the previous video. If you haven't seen that video, please jump back, and I recommend you watching that video because it was very fun solving some solutions from Codewars. And in this video we're gonna do the same but some other tasks, and hopefully it will be very interesting for you. And if you are new in our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give thumbs up if you like this video. And also, if you comment your solution, it would be very nice, and it would be nice to discuss your solution together as well. So first of all, before starting our katas, let's review all of the katas. So the first one is level 7Q, and it's saying that it's list filtering. So basically they will give you a list with a mix of data types, and you only have to return if the data is equal to a number. So they passed in 1, 2 and some letters, so it's only returning 1 and 2 because those are numbers, data type of numbers. But these are not. So if it's numbered, then we'll return it, filter it out, and return it. So let's read the description. In this kata, you will create a function that takes a list of non-negative integers and strings and returns a new list with the strings filtered out. So we'll basically return filtered out list which only contains numbers. So let's move on to the next kata, which is 7Q as well. And it's saying that odd or even, which is very interesting, right? So they're saying that given a list of integers, determine whether the sum of its elements is odd or even. So give your answer as a string matching odd or even. So if the input array is empty, consider it as empty array of, not empty array, but array containing only 0, array with a 0. So let's see some examples. They are saying that their input is 0 in the array and should return even because 0 is basically even, right? So in here we should get each element and count its sum. For example, in this case the sum will be 5 because 0 plus 1 is 1 and 1 plus 4 is 5. So and 5 is odd number basically. So if the input is like this, it will be even because the sum of these elements will be even. And they're saying that we should have fun, as you can see. And the next one is also 7Q, and here we have to count the amount of vowels in this given string. So they're saying that return the number count of vowels in the given string. We'll consider A, E, I, O, U as vowels for this kata, but not Y. So we'll not count Y. The input string will only consist of lowercase letters and or spaces. So it's a nice touch that we don't have to check for uppercase letters. So that's a nice touch. So if you're ready, let's start with the first kata. So in this kata, everything is very, very simple. So we just have to return the filtered array, which only contains numbers from given array. So let's do that. There's actually a JavaScript built-in method. So we'll say return list.filter. Filter is gonna get every element from the list and we'll pass in this function. So functions accepting functions. So we'll say value. This is an array function. If you don't know, this came out in ES6 JavaScript, and I really like it very much because otherwise you would have to write like this, function value and so on. So this is a nice touch in ES6 and I've really liked it. So let's do value, and if type of value is equal to number, then we'll push that to the letter. It will return a new array with the elements matching this condition actually. So it will return that new list, filter that. So if type of returns the data type. So if the element is equal to, if type of element is equal to a number, then it will push it to that new array and return it. So that's very simple. And because it's one line, we can just refactor it a little bit. So here we can just do like this, and let's get it to a variable. Actually, filter list is equal to, again, this is also an array function. So here we go. And now let's attempt it, if the test is true or not. And why we have failed. Let's check if anything is wrong in here. So I think it cannot get L. It's showing that L. Oh, in array functions we don't have to use return. So that was our mistake. So now let's check it out one more time. So now we have passed all the tests and it's saying great, which is very nice, right? So if you're ready now, let's move on to the next kata. So in this kata we have to get every element of the array, of the list, and count its sum and decide if that sum is even or odd. And we have to return, if it's odd, we should have to return a string odd. If it's even, then string of even. So let's put a semicolon first of all in here. So if you're ready, let's start coding. So first of all, let's create a variable called sum, which will start at 0, and then we'll say for const number of array. So what does this mean? This is also syntax of ES6. So you will get the every element of that array and put it into a variable called number. So we can just easily say sum is equal to, and we'll add plus. Plus means just it adds, it's the syntax of this basically, sum plus number. So we will have we have to shorten it. So we have to do like this. So here we go. So, and now we get the sum of every element, and we'll decide if it's odd or even. So if we divide it by 2, and if it's equal to 0 when we divide it by 2, then we'll return it as even, right? If I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, we'll return odd. So why? This modulo operator is actually a divider, and it returns the value, which is let me show you an example in here. How can I explain this? For example, 5 divided by 2 is equal to 1. Why? Because if you divide this by 2, there will be 2 value, right? There will be count of 2 times, right? And then 1 will be left from this 5 if you divide it by 2. For example, if you divide 6 by 2, there's no limitations, right? There's no a number which will be out of this division, right? So that's why in here, if sum modulo 2 is equal to 0, if there's basically no outro, it will return even, otherwise it will return odd. And in here we're just creating a variable sum, which is equal to 0, and every time we're getting the elements of that given array and adding to this variable, which will be the sum finally. And we're saying that if sum divided by 2 has no outros, and which is basically equal to 0, then return even, otherwise it will return odd. So now let's test it out, check if it's working. Let's wait. And yeah, it's saying excellent. So that's great. We have done our kata true. So now if you are ready, let's move on to the next one. The next one is vowel count. This is a bit difficult, might seem a bit difficult, but that's not really. So first of all, we'll say that vowels, we'll get it to one array, and we'll place these things in here. Let's copy it and paste it in here, and let's convert it to a string, otherwise it will give an error. Here you go. So nice. So now the last thing left is we have to check for the every letter. If it's equal to vowel, then we'll add 1 to this variable. Let's get rid of var because I hate it. It's not very good. You can get it in any scope chain, which is bad. It's bad actually. So that's why I decide to use let always or const. So now let's split the string. So we'll say simple ctr, and it's equal to ctr.split to an empty string. So we will get the every empty string between these letters and split it to those. So it will be the element in this array. It will return an array of those every single element, because there's an empty array basically everywhere, right? In here, for example, in here there's an empty array, not empty array, but empty string. So it will split to those, and now we can check for those if it's equal to a vowel or not. So we'll just say for const, well, getting a variable, so const letter of cpl ctr. So what are you doing basically, you might ask, right? So basically this returns an array of every single element listed in that array, and we're getting every single letter from that array. So we're getting into variable, and we'll check if letter is equal to one of these letters. So we have to for loop from this one as well, from that one as well. So we'll say for const vowels, const vowel of vowels. So again, it will get every single character from this vowel and put it into this variable. Why it's not working? Oh, I made a mistake. So here you go. So and then we'll check if this letter is equal to vowel, which is this variable right here, vowel. Then let's put it down actually, and then we'll get the vowels count and plus plus. This syntax means that basically it's equal to this syntax, vowels count plus 1. This code does the same as this one. So it's the same, it's just a shortened way of doing it. So now let's check if it's working or not. So before that, let me explain every single code for you. We're just basically creating a variable called vowels count, which will start at 0, and we're taking all of the vowels and putting it in this list nicely, and we're splitting this string given string from those empty strings, which will get every single letter, because there's empty string between every letter, right? So and then we're getting every single letter in that array, because split returns array, I'm saying one more time, and puts it into gets every element and puts it into this letter variable. And then we're getting, in this way, we're getting all of these vowels. We're getting every element and putting it to const variable called vowel. And we're checking if this letter variable is equal to vowel, then get the vowels count and add plus to it. This syntax means equal vowel plus 1. So just add ones to this current vowel count element. So and then finally we're turning that vowel count. Let's put a semicolon in here, and now let's try to attempt it, if it's working or not. Yeah, it's saying that we have passed all of the tests, and it's saying correctamundo, which is very interesting word in English, and that was very fun, right? So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give thumbs up, and also comment your solution, please, because it will be very fun to discuss you in these topics. And bye bye, see you in the next videos.